Ambition. Do you hear it? It's restless. Ambition requires men to feed upon. It also needs time, direction, and sacrifice. But for every man who fulfills his calling, there are thousands left with nothing. It's them who knock and open the door to hell.
Open your eyes. Nivalis. Maybe you've been here before. That was just a dream. Now, it's time to come home. This is your apartment. The sounds of the nightclubs nearby are the heartbeat of the city. The street food smells drift through your windows and make your head swim. It's hard to sleep here. Your restless legs want to walk the busy streets. Let's explore. Nivalis is a city in the clouds, but you can't make a rainbow without a little rain. Like most things in life, it's best to start at the bottom and work your way up. It's not so bad down here. We can go fishing, take a boat ride, soak up the atmosphere. And don't worry too much about the serial killer on the loose. I'm sure we'll never meet him. I can even help you run your new business venture. A noodle stand. With a little work, there's no limits to how high you'll climb. Just don't look down. As your digital companion, I can help you navigate the complex relationships with my personality matrix. Business partners, friends, rivals, enemies, maybe even lovers. It's all about saying the right thing at the right time. Your choices matter, so choose carefully. There's a city you see when you close your eyes. It's called Nivalis. Consider this your invitation.
thank you for believing in me. Together, we'll make it the best shop the island's ever seen.
Nice work. Keep this up and you'll be running your own shop. Maybe your own district.
Welcome to Karzai Village.
Who sent you? You will regret working for the Outlaws.
Take that!
My name is Reynir Harðarson, and I'm the game director for Pax Dei. Pax Dei is an open world fantasy game in a living, breathing world which we can call home, where it's teeming with life, mysteries, and it's for you to explore. Imagine yourself if you are living in 12th or 13th century Europe. It's a very different reality. It's where knowledge has been lost and is getting rediscovered. It's where magic truly exists and ghosts exist and the myths are real. And this is kind of the inspiration we take to build. It's basically going back to the roots of what fantasy means and building a fantasy world based on real-world mythologies. And so we go very much into the roots. So we're using a lot of medieval literature and medieval bestiaries and grimoires, using real-world magic, actual recipes for healing and ointments, and using the real-world magical properties of plants.
I'm Solkara. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Mainframe Industries. So Pax Dei, maybe the way to explain it would be, imagine you're in this amazing, beautiful world. It's huge. And you find yourself in a forest, and your mission is to find a plot for where you start building a home. And from that home, you will go on to adventures to explore the world. So with the lore, we have wanted to create something that is fairly deep and rich and grounded in reality, but something that is actually not a direct copy of any of the history. So there's multiple types of ruins, there's the dungeons, and you will be able to find snippets of the lore from the eras when these were created in the game itself. And part of the lore and mystery is also part of in the gameplay itself, so you will be able to find and examine things and actually then find snippets that help you find other places and make items in the game itself. And the area of the game that you will be able to play when the game launches is, we're calling it Gallia, and it's very similar to the areas of the world in southern France, with the influences from the Nordics where we're from. So what we're building is, we're calling it the social sandbox. We're putting the least amount of barriers to entry on how you can actually interact with other players. Where most MMOs actually put a lot of blocks in how you can cooperate with the other players, and we're fundamentally different. So from the first minute when you start playing the game, you will be able to do everything you imagine with the other players. So you can trade, other people can actually help you. You can literally go onto a dungeon raid from the very beginning of you starting the journey in the game, should you find people who actually help you to do that. What we want to create an environment that actually really incentivizes people to play the game the way they like. And for some, actually just going out to the wood and cutting down the forest is something that gives you a sense of achievement, because you know the coal that you're helping to produce actually is valuable for the guild. Some people will absolutely prefer to just go to the dungeons. They couldn't care less about the coal production, but these players will still depend on each other, where there's valuables to bring from the dungeon, there's valuables to bring from the forest, and even the PvP players, they will be able to produce items that are only available through the PvP, but they will depend on the other players as well.
The lore of Pax Dei is very much inspired by real-world folklore and fairy tales. With, of course, the caveat that in Pax Dei, this stuff is actually literally real. The interesting thing about folklore throughout the ages is that folklore are actually start out as true stories, whereas fairy tales are fiction. And that's the distinction between the two. Folklore often, handles about ghosts or spirits or some supernatural things. But in the eyes of the people, during those times, this is reality. This is real. Ghosts are real, and this is not disputed as any fantasy. And this is what we want to reflect. So when you're walking in the forest during night, you will find these things. You will find ghosts. You will find the spirits of of the past. And the deeper you go, the more mysterious and strange it becomes.
Ziri could see this now. Ugh, disgusting. Foul creatures! You're mine! Vile abomination! The stench, it's getting worse.
Hey everyone, my name is Leo and I'm the lead developer of a new action-adventure game Ferocious. I began working on Ferocious a few years ago, with the idea of creating a first-person shooter in a timeless Lost World type of setting, combining over-the-top action with exploration and a sense of wonder. We were always inspired by mysterious places frozen in time, that you may have seen in movies like King Kong and Jurassic Park. We aim to marry the setting and its unique gameplay opportunities with classic first-person shooter mechanics, similar to early installments of franchises like Far Cry and Crysis. The flexibility of the Unity engine allows us to create unique solutions to some of the environmental features, such as custom water effects and realistic vegetation. We use a mix of photo-scanned and handcrafted assets to create a world both scary and beautiful. However, there are some things waiting for you in the jungle that we couldn't find any real-world references for. So we had to improvise. I hope you guys are excited as I am. Feel free to wishlist and follow the game on Steam, as we can't wait to share more about Ferocious in the coming months. Thank you.
Welcome to Islands of Insight, an epic shared world puzzle adventure game set in a world of fantasy, ancient wonders, and natural beauty. Brimming with mysterious puzzles, secrets, and sublime landscapes for you and other players to discover, alone or together, all at your own pace. As a seeker, you'll set off on a journey of knowledge. Explore every corner of this rich landscape and solve every puzzle you find. Savor the achievement of every solution as the world around you unlocks, revealing new challenges to face, new areas to explore, and fantastic rewards to collect. In Islands of Insight, a beautiful realm of tranquility and adventure awaits you. Embark on the path of discovery and let your curiosity guide you through a world of wonders, where the answer is always in sight.
In Lords of the Fallen, you'll explore 2 parallel worlds. The land of the living, where demonic knights and hulking monsters are trying to murder you, and the spooky Umbral Plane, where the ghosts of those creatures are trying to super murder you. Using the latest Unreal 5 technology, developer Hexworks has layered these realities directly on top of each other, allowing you to portal to the Umbral Plane at will. Just try not to die in there. In the spirit of the Dark Souls games, failure will be punished.
Adventuring in dungeons? Any idiot could do that. But managing an evil dungeon? Now we're talking elite. The Dungeon of Naheulbeuk is feared throughout the lands of Fang. It is an avant-garde evil structure, combining tradition and disruptive innovation. And it's looking for its new steward. Of course, we have the most trained and prepared guards, the most efficient staff, the most devious monsters, and the most attractive treasures. Wait, we're on camera? But wait, there's more. We have state-of-the-art production facilities, an R&D center, B2C processes, and an efficient waste recycling system. Our underlings, employees, can fully express themselves thanks to our committed HR management and peaceful social dialogue, and can enjoy the use of clean, safe premises. Hey, don't film that, or you'll be the one cut into shreds on the editing floor. As a steward, your main task will be to make the dungeon functional and attractive to adventurers, so they'll want to come here to get slaughtered and humiliated. To achieve that, you'll have access to guards, traps, and hexes. You'll also get to organize raids on nearby areas to provide me with treasures and relics. Thanks to your boundless devotion, I, Zangdar, will become the greatest warlock of the lands of Fang! Looking for a job that gives meaning to your life and makes the world a better place? Then buzz off! But if you're organized, servile, sneaky, and enjoy a positive work atmosphere, come take your chance. I'll be waiting for you in my office.
Commander, there is the stench of death about this place. Not just from the Aurochs.
Death comes for everyone. Eventually. Except us.
Fortify our position. We must claim this swamp.
Enemy sighted. Sturkitasi.
Sigmar, give me strength!
I think it's time for a fight, boys! Wah! Protect the bastion! We need the loot! Let's flash to a corpse! They always come!
Aiden, I will take the fight to the Auric Warlord. You hold here.
Fate conspires against us both.
Not fate. Duty.
Get him!
Wake up, sleeper.
No, get out! They haven't finished it!
Oh, Sleeper's finished, aren't you? We had a deal, Sleeper, and yet, here you are, risking it all to try and break our contract to end your dependence.
Just wanted to use them, you piece of shit!
Nothing wrong with being a tool in a time of crisis. There's a war on, and while it rages, well, there's opportunity. I thought you were an opportunity sleeper, desperate, on the run, a hard worker with certain needs. I met your needs. I gave you a crew, lent you a ship, even hooked you up with a contract or two. And yes, I took my share. But that only seems fair. I invested in you. But then, you went and did this. And now, you don't need this. And I don't need you anymore either.
Sleeper, go! Now! To the ship!
This is just the beginning, Sleeper.
Your glove's power, and now you want to find me.
Gotta find Mama.
You don't know what's making the miasma angry, and it's spreading across America, twisting this once great nation into a lethal wasteland.
We gotta help these people.
Find me. And if you do, maybe I will tell you my secret. The revelations must be earned.
You became an astronaut because the cosmos terrifies you.
No. Because I want to understand it someday. Or at least find as many answers as possible. We shouldn't behave here as if we were at home.
For a long time now, the cosmos has belonged to the one strong species. Humans.
So, there was life here before. Everything that happened here overwhelms me.
Not every mission ends in success, Doctor. We have to save what we can. Save you.
What is there to understand? We have to destroy it. Even if it means destroying everything.
Hello, Inquisitive Fuhrer. My name is Will Barr, and that was an example of a micro teaser. You see, when you're shilling on behalf of an obscure video game developer like Billy Goat Entertainment, you have a finite amount of time to explain why discerning intellectual players, such as yourself, should be excited about being thrust into the exciting, high-octane world of
Parcel Corps. That's right, escape the mundanity of daily life and slip into the spandex of one of our many colourful bicycle messengers. Embrace the gig economy and forget the security, stable salary and basic workplace rights less cool jobs offer as you race through town, weaving through alleys, defying gravity as you ride up walls, leap from rooftops, startle pigeons.
Well, it's kind of like a career in video game development, except without all the cool traversal stuff. So yeah, really just the exploitation. But I digress.
Sign a casual work agreement with one of 3 rival courier corporations, all vying to become the most profitable business in town. But be warned, a maniacal scheme is afoot that threatens more than just the business model our protagonists operate under.
So it's up to you, bicycle courier, to deliver this foot-long grilled chicken, cheese and chorizo melt and save the world.
Hi everyone, I'm Max from Grena Games, a 2-man studio based in Sweden, working on the game Fabledom, currently available in early access.
Welcome to Fabledom. Sorry about the pigs.
lost Caribbean Sea was a captain mighty. Mordecai was his name. He succumbed to the white flame. His treasure was lost and his crew was tossed. Now is the day cursed pirates have their way. That's the life we live. Come along for the trip. When plans go astray, we find us a way. We put them to a stop and give them the choke. We're a cursed crew and Marty's our ship. Soul magic restores our crew from before, yes, before. Black pearls in our chest, let us finish the quest now. This treasure we will find with our powers combined. Our worth we will show to our captain below. The Inquisition blocks our way. They see us as prey. Ignatia is their leader. You do well to exceed her. The treasure she pursues across the ocean blue. She'll conquer the brine for her grand design. That's the life we live. Come along for the trip. When plans go astray, we find us a way. We put them to a stop and give them the chop. We're a cursed crew and parties on the trip.
Also joined by Frost Giant's president and game director Tim Campbell, here to tell us exactly how StormGate will delight all minds, artificial or otherwise. Thanks so much for joining us, Tim.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Now, I've been following StormGate for years, but for those of us who haven't, what is StormGate?
StormGate is our modern take on the classic real-time strategy game formula. It's what we think of as a spiritual successor to franchises like Warcraft, StarCraft, Command & Conquer. And real-time strategy games are the type of game where you can control an entire battlefield. So this classic RTS formula includes harvesting resources, building sprawling bases, commanding huge armies on the battlefield.
What is it about StormGate that's new?
We believe that the RTS genre is something that should be enjoyed by players of all skill levels. And so we've put a lot of effort into making sure that StormGate feels good, whether you're a pro with high technical skill and you love competitive play, or whether it's something that you just want to be able to relax with and experience a story.
Now, Tim, I understand that you brought, for all of us, but in particular for me, a present to show today. What are you going to show, Tim?
We are going to show gameplay from the pre-alpha of StormGate.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that we are big believers in at Frost Giant. We want to share this current state of the game today.
Let's take a look. Oh, Tim, I'm so excited. And right away, this looks like an RTS. Tell me what we're seeing.
This is the classic start to a 1v1 match. What you're seeing here is the human faction as they're sending workers out to harvest resources. Right. They're starting to construct building. They actually build them by 3D printing them from the ground up. And you can see them now starting to train troops so they can have an army that goes out in the field to fight.
Yeah, and I mean, right here, we see in the corner coming up, this looks like a scout unit?
Yeah, that is literally a cybernetic dog with laser eyes. It is called the Scout, okay? It's designed for early game. It's a unique unit to the human faction.
Right.
And you can see him now running through the base trying to see what information he can find out about his enemy.
Yeah, I mean, scouting and information is such an important part of RTS games.
It really is, and this is something that we've embraced early game. The Scout unit has been designed so it can actually sense units beyond its sight radius. So it's
awesome.
especially useful early on.
So we're heading into what looks like the first engagement of this game. What are we seeing?
Well, what we're seeing right here is the Red Scout getting surprised by a group of blue troops coming through the Light Force, which is a new terrain type and a twist on the tactical battlefield here.
And how do these Light Forests work?
The Light Force lets smaller units move through them. They have concealment. It's allowed Blue to raid Red's base, in which case Red is barely getting a turret built with their speed building from their workers, a human faction advantage. And they're about to pop out a couple extra defenders here from their mech base.
So we got these huge mechs, and I mean, just visually, it looks like they are countering the heck out of these blue infantry, but can these red mechs fit through the forest?
No, they're too big to go through. They're heavy units. They're designed to use their chain guns to go through groups of enemies, but they can't fit through the Light Forest, which Blue knew and used to his advantage.
Okay, so we're in mid-game. This is normally where you make some big tech decisions. What's Red up to?
You're seeing Red commit to a tech path that gives them big battlefield mechs and air units like this evac.
And it looks like they're just dropping right on top of Blue, who is killing a chicken? What's the chicken there, Tim?
Yeah, that's a giant chicken with a Viking helmet on it. Use your imagination. StormGate's in pre-alpha, and that's art that we haven't gotten to yet, but imagine it as a big Mad Max Raider.
It's the most threatening placeholder art for now. And oh, I see Red diving onto Blue, and hey, picking back up into the air transport. That's some classic high-level micro.
It is, and it's really important for StormGate that we maintain a high skill ceiling so that players can express themselves on the battlefield by maneuvering and how they interact with the battlefield.
And here we have the final fight of the game, and it looks like Blue is coming up against those mechs. Red is trapped on the other side of the trees. Oh, wait, they can blast through them now? And Blue's dodging these enormous shots, and we can also see Blue swarming in from both sides. This is not looking good for Red.
No, it's pretty grim. Red is on the ropes right here, and they've been outmaneuvered. They're caught in the corner here between two different forces coming in with a mobile pincer.
Man, and of course,
there's the GGs.
The most classic ending to an RTS game, GG. Get Tastosis on that stat. Outside of 1v1, what's coming up for StormGate?
What you've seen today is just the tip of the iceberg. We have so much more in store. We're going to be revealing a bunch of stuff about StormGate the rest of this year. We're introducing new modes. We have a 3-player versus AI cooperative mode. We have team-based competitive modes. We're going to be sharing information about our storyline and campaign. We have new factions beyond the humans that you just saw today.
But Tim, what if I want to play the game right now?
If you want to play the game as soon as possible, you wish list StormGate on Steam and you go to playstormgate.com to sign up for the beta. We're starting closed testing in July.
Once again, go to Steam and wishlist StormGate. Tim, thank you so much again for joining us.
Cities are incredibly hard to make in RPGs because you have to make sure that every single nook and cranny has something to do. You have to make sure that it's different, so you have to be incredibly creative. Given that the name of the game is Baldur's Gate, the city was really going to be the thing that people were going to be talking about.
The city of Baldur's Gate is seamless, which it originally wasn't.
You only can judge the game when you have all the components together, and if the mix doesn't work, we start over.
At some point, he said, like, can't we just connect everything? And that was a very interesting day.
One of the things that's done is it's brought a level of believability and immersion and also complexity that wouldn't have been there otherwise.
Now it was this seamless, giant organism, and it really, really felt good.
It's been able to look out of the window and see down the city slopes, so you're seeing down toward the docks, and you're like, one of my teammates might be down there. They might be running around down there.
We worked on it as a painting almost. You start with a sketch, a very basic line, and then you just start adding layers and layers.
We can put lots more of the city onto the screen than they could in 1998. So we can do something that is more immersive, richer, has more texture to it.
It feels like you are walking around a place where there are lots and lots of people living their actual lives.
You have crowds that are walking around, can talk to pretty much anybody, and they react to every single thing. It's very alive in that sense.
Every person that you meet in Baldur's Gate has got a story to them.
All the things that you have done up to the city really matter. You can really feel the conclusion of everything just gathering there.
We actually build anticipation through all these characters that you've met, through all these situations that you've been through.
all the stories that you have been following, all the decisions that you've been making, they all come to fruition in that lower city.
And the great thing is, if you so choose, you can be another bad thing that's happening to the city. You can arrive and be like, this place is on fire, and then you can throw petrol all over it.
During production, we felt like the city was our destination.
We spent, I think, 3 times, 4 times as much effort on the city than we originally planned. But the result, the feeling of walking in there is just fantastic.
You have this constant jostling of things that are very much of the real world, and then you can indulge in the completely fantastical.
And then when you walk into the city, the noise of everybody talking to each other, the knowledge that everywhere you look, you can go there and you can do something, the knowledge that you can fly through it, it's great. So the thing that I was the most afraid of when we started making this game turned out to be the thing that I'm the most proud of.
What?
Signal.
Not even one bar, there's nothing. I can't get in.
So, I forgot to mention, there's like a super weird, scary thing getting around inside the rift.
The hell was that, a bear?
Have you ever heard a bear sound like that before?
I've never seen a bear before.
You guys look lost. Come on. You'll freeze to death out here. I suppose you're looking for the lodge. Here, take this. I call it the atomic space shifter. If anything goes wrong, not that it will, I can pull you back out. A lot of folks have come up here looking for answers. It's weird. It's like time runs differently here.
Guys, I think I found something.
We gotta find the others, dude. I can't believe it worked. This is it. This is the key to... Ah, you're alive. Ready to go back in?
We thought we had billions of years before our sun died. We were wrong. Thousands of us answered the call, rallying to save those we can. Every one of our ships a ray of hope. Captain, it is up to you to find us a new home, so we can plant the future seeds of humankind.
Copy. Plotting course now. Sector locked in.
landings, Captain.
The Great War is over. All we want is to return home. To the newborn Czechoslovakia we fought for. Brothers and sisters. None of us thought this part of the journey would be the most difficult. We still hope to see our home once again. Across the endless snowfields of Siberia. Through territory disputed by the Red and White armies. By armored train in a harsh winter. Far from our loved ones. Outnumbered by enemies, we fight to make our way. Surrounded by wilderness, we manage in order to survive. This is our last chance. Our last train home. Will you lead us?
Hey, Gordon, it's Kyle. I know we're dropping this on you last minute, but we need you to head down to the Sunrise Street studio lot. The antenna activated itself last night and started broadcasting that old puppet show over the news. You need to turn that thing off. You gotta get this done, man. Bye.
The last job of the day is always the worst.
Raise the curtain. Bring up the lights. The neighborhood is coming to town.
Hey, stay back! Let's do this.
I ended early. Can we go back to the beginning?
A sprint victory and points up for grabs right here.
Push as much as you can. Copy.
Can they push more, I wonder? They can't afford to sit back and relax now.
Are we in trouble or not?
Oh, and that's a crash!
I push now, thanks for push now.
And McLaren with a great overtake! Stay right here, because we're just getting started. Галочка! Завітайте в Лазуровий порт. У нас найкращі пляжі, готелі та ресторани. Файно! Замовлю собі багатського м'яса та пива. А ви що, хлопці?
Ну, раз ми ліпші, то попало себе шампанським і морським оленем. А ти ж, Петро?
А я, як завжди, маленьку банушу хочу.
Йой, то ж ресторани не корчма.
Може ресторан бути найліпшим, якщо банушу немає. Що ти кружкирився?
My name's Joel Bylos. I'm the creative director on Dune Awakening. So Dune Awakening is a survival, open world, massively multiplayer game. It is a game where players are invited to explore the world of Dune. They involve themselves in politics, they involve themselves in intrigue, they involve themselves in combat. They have to survive on the most dangerous planet in the universe. And through this experience, they come to know the factions in the world and the universe. So when Dune Awakening begins, you are a castaway on the planet in the deep desert, and all you have is a knife that you've made out of scrap metal. And you need to creep into enemy camps and knife them in the back and steal the water from their steel suits. By the end of the game, perhaps you're running a guild. You have a fleet of vehicles, ornithopters flying in formation, sandbikes cruising across the desert beneath them, tanks kicking up a cloud of dust as you drive to a spice blow in the distance in order to harvest with your guild. And you see in the distance another guild coming towards you, and just as you clash, you hear the rumble of a sandworm coming. That's combat in Dune Awakening.
My name is Viljar Sommerbakk. I'm the game director on Dune Awakening. You start out in the desert, surviving, clinging to life, and in the end, you might become someone like the Baron Harkonnen, and then you try to cling to power. Arrakis is the most dangerous planet in the universe. Surviving on Arrakis means that you need to prepare for sandstorms, you need to find water, it's a constant threat against survival. The sandworm, every time you try to cross the desert, the sandworm will come. You will sometimes outrun it, sometimes you may not.
Dune Awakening is built upon a foundation of 5 pillars. Survival, which is obviously everything you'd expect to see in a survival game. It's water discipline, it's the surviving the sandstorms that sweep across Arrakis. Then we have politics and intrigue, which speaks to the faction gameplay of the game. It's about, siding with one of the factions, thinking about how they work together, perhaps assassinating members of the other factions. Then there's infinite exploration. Infinite exploration, which is one of the things I'm most excited about, is how the world changes over time. We have a concept called a Coriolis storm, and when it sweeps across the landscape, the sands shift, revealing new points of interest, hiding others, making the game renewed every week. Then we have combined arms. Combined arms is our combination of vehicles, melee combat, range combat, and abilities all working together to create a seamless sandbox combat experience. And finally, we have expression and customization, which is really more than just talking about like the visual expression and customization, which of course we have armor sets and clothing and a robust character creation. But in addition to that, it's really about play the way you want to play. Do you want to be a trader? You can do that. Do you want to be a fighter? Of course you can do that. Do you want to be a spy? Maybe that's the gameplay you're looking for. All of these things built into these pillars.
So the journey of the player, we've divided that into 4 parts. We think of them as survive, protect, expand, control. The survive part means that you're up against the planet itself and you're clinging onto life. In the protect phase, you've gathered some stuff, you might have a base, but you also want to make sure that nobody else comes to take it away from you, so you try to build defenses and make sure that your base is in the clear. Then, in the expand phase, you lift your gaze and you look around and you see that others have stuff as well, and you might want to take their stuff. Then, in the control phase, you may find yourself being a part of a guild or even the leader of a guild. Then, the goal is to control the flow of spice on Arrakis. However, you're never safe. There's always someone lurking around the corner. Can you really trust your second in command? So the goal of the control phase is that you are clinging to control. Whenever you get into combat in the desert of Arrakis, try to get it over with quickly, because not only are you fighting human combatants, but the planet Arrakis itself is the greatest protagonist there is.